Rick, I guess we'll just get started with your expectations from this is the most veteran team in the NHL with the Pittsburgh Penguins in town. What does a veteran team bring to a game tonight?
Well, I mean, just over the years, watching and being around those guys or even watching from afar, they got a core group that doesn't get, they don't get antsy in games. They got that pedigree, and it's experience. Goes a long way.
It looks like the power play is kind of split up from what we saw at practice today. I guess, can you walk us through your thought process of kind of splitting it up? It almost feels
Well, I think sometimes you need a breather from each other. Some guys need to maybe have their own units, take a shot at it, see how it works. I mean, it's only practice, but I thought one side looked really good, so hopefully it works out. But I think there's nothing wrong with it. Plus, it gives a little freshness to it, and I saw a little juice out there from some guys. So we'll see how it works.
Wanted to ask about JT Miller a little bit as well.
Yeah.
He's one of the more experienced playoff players on this team and on this roster. At this point in the season, are you seeing his game change to kind of take on more leadership, or is it just he's just playing well? Like, what is it with his game?
Well, he drives play. If you look, even went through our little slump. I mean, he was a play driver. He's first on the forecheck. Like he's really willed his last game was like, obviously he was a big reason why we won. I think he had 8 or 9 hits and got 3 points, and it was an all-around game. But I think especially the last 3-4 games, you could tell that he wants to amp it up here for the last 20. He wants to get he wants people to get on his back and let's go. And you need players like that.
Rick, you played in Philadelphia, a city where the fans eat their own, so you know what it's like. You know what it's like to play there. You know what it's like to be criticized there. When you first came here, one of your first things you said to us was you wanted to control the noise. You wanted to have an environment for your players where they can play in a hockey mad market, not worry about speculation, what's out there. Having said that, do you feel you have to talk to somebody like Pettersson, who, again, is the subject of so much rampant speculation out there? Do you have to take him aside or just let him go?
Yeah, it's Petey, it's anybody. I think you have to really be in tune with your players. A lot of one-on-ones with your players, especially when things don't go your way. And it's hard. I know everybody reads social media, and the good or bad. You got to be careful when you're going good. You don't. Sometimes I've seen it the other way, where you're going good, you forget your details, and all of a sudden you slump. So I think it's both ways. But yeah, I mean, P's he's been here 5 years. He knows the market, and you insulate yourself in the room. That's the best way to insulate yourself. You don't have. You try to create a safe environment here for the guys in the sense of keep the noise outside. It's hard, but you got to do it.
How do you assess Mikheyev on his wing, though? We know about the 28 games, but he was better last game, Mikheyev. Do you keep him there, or what do you do?
Yeah, I think you want to see if he can put another. I thought he made strides last game. So the next step is, can he play another game like that? It's no different our team. We had a really good game against Boston. Can we have another good game? So it's no different than Mikheyev. We have it's not just Mac. There's about 4 or 5 guys I think that they were better last game, but we need some more consistent effort from some guys here, more detailed.
With JT, you mentioned that he wants guys to get on his back. Do you get the sense that they feed off his energy when he's going the way he has been?
Yeah, I do. I find when he has a couple of good shifts together and does what we ask, the next line will follow. I think Garland's another guy, who's another guy that I thought last game, that Lindholm line was good. I thought, they had some chances, but they played a really good 200-foot game. So I think when you look like lines like that, how they played last game, people want to be part of that by doing the right things.
You've got the 3 centers now playing in those spots, which on the surface gives you a lot of center depth. But do you have enough winger depth for that to be sustainable, to play Miller, Petey, and Lindholm?
Well, you got to remember Teddy too. Teddy's a great fourth line. If he's going to play the fourth line, I like the balance. Hey, listen, we're playing a team. Sidney Crosby had Gensel, Rust, Scott Will. He had 4 or 5 pleather. We just rotated guys in, and he made it work. So we can't just go and get 50-goal scorers. You can't go get free agents at 10. Like, you got to make it work. And we have. I mean, you took those 4 center. They're as good as they're in the Pacific, I think, and there's depth there. So we got to make it work.
About the schedule, guys kind of admitted that they laid that egg against Seattle,
Yeah.
but it came at the end of a pretty rough stretch. You guys have a pretty good one coming up. A lot of home games, no back-to-backs. Do Do you feel that's going to help?
Yeah, I knew this February was going to be tough. When it was the start of it, after that, I think we went 4-0-1 or something. We had a good run, and then I think our inconsistency came. But that's where I've talked to you guys about is you got to play tired. And when you don't feel good, you got to be smart. Good angles, let the game come to you. And sometimes when you're pressing, when you're tired, or you have a long shift, you try to get that one last rush in when you shouldn't. That's when you lose games. So I think that's I keep saying next level, but that's what we have to learn. It's no different down the road. We're going to be in some games where you don't feel good. You got to make sure they can hold the fort. And I thought we did most of the year. We've done a good job of that. Lately we haven't. So hopefully the Boston game gives us a little bit of buy-in to that. That's what you have to do when you're tired, if you're tired.
Demko starts tonight.
Yep.
How do you manage your goalies kind of down the stretch here? Obviously, you've got Casey, who's played well all season long as well. Like, how do you look at their workloads down the stretch?
Yeah, I rely on Clarkie a lot, but we're going to have to get Casey in. I mean, it's we got it's to an exact science of how many games Denver's going to play. I don't have it to the exact game, but we know there's a range what we Denver to play, and we got to get Casey in here for sure. You got to think long term, and I think we really like Denver especially. And Casey, but they get one-on-one time. Sometimes he doesn't even have to practice, but he'll go with Clarkie in the morning, just them, and then kick him off the ice. We're going to probably do that in the next 2 weeks too, so that will help Denver save the miles on him, and get Casey some more reps. I mean, the poor guy hasn't, he's played long stretches, 10 days or 2 weeks, so it's hard as a backup goaltender to do that.
Doc, you're strong down the middle, so are the Penguins,
Yeah.
Sid, Gino, Eller, and Achari.
Yeah.
Will you chase any kind of, with the last change at home, chase any kind of matchup that way, or you just like best on best?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a guy like Sid, and Sid's not a guy that takes long shifts, so some of my theory goes out, you try to get two lines. Some centers stay long, so you have two lines against them. Sid doesn't. Sid's pretty smart, so we had a couple of lines. I'd like to make sure that they're out there against Sid, but and certain defense players, but it's hard to contain them. I like matchup to a point. I don't want it's not a hard matchup, but there are some times on the ice you got to get certain guys on against certain people. So I will look for that tonight. Yes.
Showed a lot of balls for our group today.
Seems like I think you don't have to spend all these.
Generational talent. Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.